estamos en Voodoo Auténtica, una de las pocas serias shoppings que hemos encontrado de voodoo y de atención personalizada en Nueva Orleans. De todo lo que hemos visto tan turístico, tan poco profesional, esto es lo más auténtico y realmente lo más serio que hemos encontrado. El zar es realmente pues una eminencia, es un rey o un... What's the name for sacerdote in Voodoo language? Is mambo and?
In Haitian voodoo, it would be mambo and ungan.
You are an ungan.
In Haitian voodoo, I would be a ungan, but I'm a New Orleans voodoo priest.
Pues, él es el priest, se puede traducir como un sacerdote de Nueva Orleans de voodoo, o sea, tenemos una persona importante aquí. Entonces, vamos a desmitificar un poquito toda esta energía negativa que hay alrededor del tema voodoo, que en España nos da tanto miedo y que primero no es magia, es una religión y con bases muy serias, ¿no? Y él nos va a explicar un poquito qué es y en qué consiste. Zar, what is exactly voodoo?
Voodoo, in and of itself, is a tradition that combines several different African religions as well as indigenous traditions and Catholicism. It's a combined religion. It started off in New Orleans with just the Orisha.
Yes.
But due to the Haitian Revolution, we also ended up with the Haitian Law here. So New Orleans traditional voodoo is a combination of the African and Haitian traditions combined with the Catholicism and indigenous populations.
So voodoo, we can say, we know that there is a special voodoo in New Orleans called hoodoo. What is the difference? Because people can confuse with voodoo and hoodoo. What is the difference?
Voodoo is a religion, hoodoo is a practice, okay? The difference between the two is voodoos were like Santeria, Candomblé, New Orleans voodoo, Haitian voodoo. All of these systems were created where Catholicism reigned. But hoodoo was created where Protestantism was reigning. They didn't have the same saints and angels to hide behind that voodoo did.
Wow, that's important because the people really, in the ignorance, they make a mix and they make a...
And they say one is evil and one is good,
Exactly.
And that's not the truth. You have good and bad practitioners in every religion and every practice, but there is no good or bad as far as voodoo goes.
For example, in Candomblé, there's Kumbashiro Nishu. In Yoruba, there's a lot of Orishas, well, some of them. And in Voodoo, there is called Loas. What is exactly a Loa? An identity, a god? What can you define a Loa?
They are a divine presence. They are deified spirits, much like Orisha. But they grew from Haitian traditions. So you can almost say they're the spirits of the land of Haiti, where Orisha are the spirits of the land of Africa.
That's true. That's true. Right. And you can consider there are three. I have here that there are three voodoos. There are the black voodoo. There are the red voodoo. This is the white voodoo. Is that right or is not? It's not right.
No. Again, good voodoo is practiced by good people. Bad voodoo is practiced by bad people. Don't break it down into complicated things like red and white and black. It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Are you going to a good person or are you going to a bad person? If you're going to a good person, they'll do good voodoo. If you're going to a bad person, they'll do bad voodoo.
Zach, what voodoo can do for people? Because it's a religion, but what kind of religion can make for people? Why people must be not scared of voodoo?
Well, in all honesty, there's sayings in voodoo like nothing is done without the eyes of God. So it shows that voodoo will always strive to appease God. So when you're calling God into something, and if God says yes, they can have it, it'll happen. But if God says no, I don't want them to have it yet, it won't happen. But there's also statements like there's a fix for everything in voodoo. You can practically fix anything. Health conditions, spiritual conditions, yeah, you can destroy negative energy, you can do protection, you can draw love, you can draw money, new jobs, new homes.
Yeah, it's true that voodoo is a really, really strong power. Really, I hear that candomblé is a good power to work with, but voodoo is a really powerful energy. You can.
Voodoo is powerful because all of the people that practice it have a lot of faith, and that's the difference. The people who practice candomblé, a form of voodoo, have definite faith in candomblé, so it works. People who practice New Orleans voodoo have faith, so it works. So the more faith you put into it, the better it works.
Exactly. And there is a taboo thing I have to ask you. It's true that is a taboo. It's true that the sacrifice are made in voodoo. Well, we know there are some animal sacrifices, and what about the human sacrifices? Is it not in this moment? It's not. Okay. This is the most. When I speak to people in the channel, the most thing what scares people is that. It's serious. It's like.
Well, understand, especially in America, people don't really understand the concept of sacrifice. Okay. In America, we throw money at everything. We want it to go away, we throw money at it. But in other places like Haiti, in order to accomplish something, they didn't really have a lot of money. So they would sacrifice something like a chicken or a goat or even a cow, something that would feed their family. They would give of that in order to accomplish the same things. Okay? So sacrifice is literally, all it is just giving up something for something else.
Yeah. There are identities that doesn't as necessary sacrifice.
No, there are spirits that don't require sacrifice, but there are some spirits that do.
Now it's like a movement. People begins to think in another things, in another choices, in another spiritual choices.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you say to the Spanish people for not being scared about voodoo? What message will you give them to say this is not a devil thing, this is not a satanical?
Statements like nothing is done without the eyes of God. It's there to remind us that God is watching us and we're supposed to be on our best behavior. So if you have these statements, why think something negative?
Sure.
Get to know the religion. Do your research. Don't do it from a Christian perspective. Do it from a perspective of this person practices voodoo. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? Like in voodoo, we revere our ancestors. We always remind ourselves that this is where we came from. This is the people that brought us forward. So we still have to honor them. In voodoo, we work towards healing. We work towards protection. We work towards everybody around us prospering.
It's true. So Zar, this is an amazing interview. How this is a little step to make the things change and the people awake from the ignorance and the negative perspective. So thanks very much. Os traduciremos la entrevista. Realmente es una personalidad importante. Si venís a Nueva Orleans, si hacéis algún viaje de los que vosotros hacéis, os recomiendo este rincón. Y os recomiendo por Zach porque se le nota el conocimiento, se le nota. Es de las pocas personas, y os lo decimos así, en Nueva Orleans que nos hemos encontrado con ganas de abrir caminos y sobre todo con conocimiento, no con ganas de vender velas, que eso es muy importante.
So around Voodoo Authentica, we have several altars because this is not only a shop, it's also a temple. So one of the altars that I like to show people is the Marie Laveau wishing altar. It's the oldest active Marie Laveau altar in the city.
Wow.
We've had a Marie Laveau altar ever since we opened our doors in 1996. So people will come from around the world, and as you see, they leave little items for Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau was an important figure in voodoo because she made it so that we could practice openly here.
Wow.
Okay, she had a deal with the father of the church at the time, Père Antoine, and while she got to practice and everybody got to practice voodoo, she kept the church full. People would go to church every Sunday, every Mass, every time. So we have that to thank. We have her to thank for that.
This is the oldest in America.
The oldest in
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Wow. Wow. Es el altar más antiguo de Nueva Orleans para María, la reina del voodoo. You have been spoken about
We're getting this for our roommate.
All right. Now in New Orleans voodoo, especially here at Voodoo Authentica, we have several spirits that a lot of people will recognize. Okay, most notably we have Ilegua, but according to New Orleans voodoo, this is also Papa Legba. Two different spirits on the same altar because they actually do the same thing,
But they are not the same.
but they're not treated the same because one has one likes and the other one has different likes. Okay, so we have several different walking altars. We also, in every real voodoo shop, in every real voodoo temple, every real New Orleans practitioner home will be an altar to Jesus.
This is Obatala?
Nope, this is Jesus. He's recognized as the Son of God in voodoo, but he's not called on. Recognized but not called on. Okay? Understand, there's an underlying belief in voodoo that Jesus sacrificed everything for everyone, so let the man rest. Okay? So here's our Obatala.
Obatala.
There's our Obatala. Oh, sorry. And right next to him we have a spirit called Ochosi.
Ochosi, yes.
Okay? Now we didn't get Osane for nature. We got Ochosi. So Ochosi is our nature.
Okay.
While Ogu is our earth and metals and our technology.
Ogun is in voodoo as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Ogun is the policeman, people.
Yep.
Yes.
Policemen, military.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay.
Wow.
And on the same altar, you also have Papa Ogu from the Haitian traditions, like Ogu Farai.
Okay. So that's exactly, what is that?
That one's Ogu Badagri.
Babagri. It's different.
It's a little different, but it's the same kind of spirit that would be found on this altar.
Okay. Because it's praising.
All right? Now, a real popular spirit around here are the Gede.
Yeah.
Now, this is the altar for not only Baron Samedi, but Mama Brigitte, Papa Gede. Okay?
But there is not an Orisha relationed with
Oh yeah, she's the queen of the cemeteries.
It's true. Yeah,
So
yeah.
she, according to the Orisha, is your ultimate connection to your ancestors. Where in Haitian, it would be the Gede.
Okay.
In African, it's Oya.
Wow. Oh yeah, could be more next to Madame Brigitte or next to.
Well, actually, we got her
Okay.
near Shango, her husband.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sure. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Here's another popular spirit. This one's Ursula Fueda.
Yeah. That's the lady.
Okay, so she got her little girly things up there.
Fantastic.
We have nice little,
Beautiful.
we even have a little Spanish flamenco dancer back
Really? Hola.
there. And above her we have Dambala Aeroero.
Oh, Obala?
No, Dambala.
Dambala. And I thought she was more next to Oshun.
She's like Oshun,
Okay.
but she's her own spirit.
Fantastic. Wow.
Okay? Remember, it's a combination of African and Haitian traditions. So we have the Haitian representations as well as the African representations here.
Ah, yes. Yamaya.
Yamaya and Oshu. But we also have Lasarin and Ogwe.
Yeah, Salafa no one. Wow. And this entity, La Sirena, this is typical of New Orleans.
It's typical of Haitian voodoo.
Okay.
So in Haitian voodoo, because she's very much like Yamaya, we got her on the same altar.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you have a lot of stuff, very good stuff. Do you know something? The people, when begins to study voodoo and candomblé and yoruba, they believe that they really doesn't know anything because it's a mix, so it means so many things. Wow. I thought Shun was relation with Madame Brigitte. With Maître Maître is a Dominican name, and Hercules is a voodoo name. Okay. And Santa Marta. What about Santa Marta? I love Santa Marta.
Santa Marta, she usually gets associated with different spirits, depending on who you go to.
It's voodoo as well.
It's voodoo as well, but it also gets, like I said, it just gets attached to different spirits depending on the tradition. Like we're in Candomblé, Santa Marta might be associated with one spirit, she's associated with a different spirit.
You can combine it, different powers, or is no recommended.
It depends on if the like traditions like New Orleans voodoo and Haitian voodoo work well together.
Okay.
But some traditions don't.
It doesn't. Okay.
So if you're going to combine traditions, make sure they work well together. If not, you can honor these spirits at this time and these spirits at this time. So you can have more than one spirit in the household, but just honor them.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Pues,
And that's where we make all of the gris-gris and bath teas and soaps and candles and...
Este es el laboratorio donde ellos pues hacen los gris-gris, que es el amuleto más importante de vudú, las velas, donde visten las velas, todo el laboratorio, además visto a los ojos de la gente, ¿no? Que no se crean que los hacen en su casa, los hacen aquí de verdad. Who is that identity?
That is a paper mache statue of Josephine Baker.
Ah, this is a stripper. No.
She was a jazz singer. She was also a stripper, but if you actually look at it, at the paper mache statue, you'll see a snake wrapped around her body, and actually comes up over her.
Yes. Like
but she has a monkey on her back,
yes.
and she has a bottle of alcohol and a glass in her hand, because Josephine Baker was rarely seen without some sort of drink.
Okay.
She always said she had a monkey on her back because she had a cocaine habit. And she was always being chased by her own demons, which is what's represented by the snake.
It's a kind of pombagina. It's something like a pombagina.
It's very much like pombagina.
Very much. Oh my god. That's amazing. So, Sarah, it's been a pleasure. Seriously, I don't want to be super actuated, but there's no one like you in New Orleans displaying what is voodoo to Spain. And it has been a lucky thing, this opportunity to make more.
It was my pleasure.
Okay. It was my pleasure. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.